Hi, I'm Mike Bellinger, founder of HUDPro.com. Welcome to HUD Pro TV. If you've ever come across HUD Homes and thought, this seems confusing, you're not alone. So let's break it down. What exactly is a HUD home? At a high level, it's a property that started with an FHA loan, and somewhere along the way, the borrower defaulted. When that happens, HUD steps in and takes ownership of the property. When that happens, the property goes through foreclosure, and HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, takes ownership. HUD's goal is not to hold real estate, but their goal is to sell these homes quickly and recover as much of the loan balance as possible. So instead of acting like a traditional seller, HUD acts more like a liquidation seller. That creates opportunity. HUD homes are unique compared to typical real estate listings. With a traditional home sale, negotiations often take place. There can be back and forth discussions with the seller. Repairs, credits, or deal terms may change throughout the process. However, HUD homes typically operate differently. They are sold through a structured process that emphasizes transparency and efficiency. So, how does the HUD bidding process work? This is where most people get confused. HUD homes are not sold like traditional real estate, as there is no back and forth negotiation. There is no seller countering your offer. When a property is listed, it enters what's called a bidding period. During that time, buyers can only submit their offers through a HUD-approved real estate agent who then will submit the bid on the client's behalf. But here's the key difference. HUD does not respond instantly, as they keep collecting bids up to the bid deadline time. The following morning, HUD reviews all bids and selects the winning bid. That is, if there is a bid meeting their expectations. That means you are not negotiating in real time. You are competing against other buyers who are submitting bids during the same window. Instead, HUD uses a structured bidding system. Now, most people assume the highest offer always wins, and that's not always true. HUD looks at what is called the net bid, which means that is what HUD receives after their closing costs, HUD paid commissions, and other factors. This means that two offers at the same price can have very different outcomes, and sometimes a slightly lower offer can actually win. This is where understanding the system gives you a real advantage, because if you know how bids are evaluated, you can structure your offer more strategically instead of just guessing. And that's what separates informed buyers from everyone else. One of the most important rules in HUD homes is the owner-occupant period. This is when a property first hits the market. HUD gives priority to buyers who plan to live in the home. HUD labels this status as owner-occupant. During this period, investors are not allowed to submit bids, and this is intentional. HUD's goal is to promote home ownership and stabilize neighborhoods, and they give everyday buyers a head start. Now, this period usually lasts a set number of days, and during that time, only owner-occupant bids are considered. After that window closes, the property opens up to all buyers, and that includes investors. And this is where things change because the competition increases. More bids come in and the dynamics of the deal shift. So timing matters more than most people realize. If you're an owner-occupant, you may have a major advantage early on. And if you're an investor, you need to be ready when that window opens. Understanding this timing can be the difference between winning a deal and missing it completely. So where are the real opportunities with HUD homes? There are a few key areas where buyers can gain an advantage. The first key area is the pricing. HUD does not always price homes perfectly. They use a structured system, and over time, prices may have to be adjusted, and that can create opportunities for buyers who are paying attention. The second key area is the competition. Many buyers simply do not understand how HUD homes work, so they avoid them altogether. And that means less competition compared to traditional listings. The third key area is your timing. As we talked about earlier, the bidding periods and owner-occupant windows create very specific opportunities depending on when you act. And finally, the last key area is the information. This is where most people fall behind. They are not tracking listings, they are not watching price changes, and they are not analyzing deals in a consistent way. And that is exactly why I built HUD Pro. It was created to make HUD Homes easier to find, easier to understand, and easier to analyze before you make a decision. Because when you combine the right data with the right timing, that is when you have the real advantage over others. Most people make the same mistakes when it comes to HUD Homes, and these mistakes can cost you time, money, and missed opportunities. The first mistake is treating a HUD home like a traditional real estate deal. Buyers expect negotiation, they expect flexibility, and they expect the seller to respond the way a homeowner would. That's not how HUD works. The system is structured, and if you don't understand it, you're already at a disadvantage. The second mistake is underestimating the property condition. These homes are sold as is, which means you need to evaluate repairs before you bid, not after. The third mistake is poor timing. Buyers either rush in without understanding the bidding window, or they wait too long and miss the opportunity completely. And the last mistake is lack of information. Most buyers are not tracking listings. They're not watching price changes, and they're not analyzing deals in a consistent way. That's why they lose deals they should have won. When you understand the process, the timing, and the numbers, you put yourself in a completely different position. HUD homes are one of the most overlooked opportunities in real estate. But once you understand how the system works, they become much more accessible. The key is knowing how to evaluate the deal, how to time your bid, and how to navigate the process correctly. That's exactly what we focus on here at HUD Pro TV. And it's exactly why I built HUD Pro. If you want to explore HUD homes in your area, analyze deals, and start making smarter decisions, visit HUDpro.com. In the next episode, we'll break down how to actually analyze a HUD deal one step at a time. I'm Mike Bellinger, and this is HUD Pro TV.